Mark.
First of all, Clay, how you doing? I think that my first question would be obviously Jeremy Stevens has been around for a long time. He's fought some of the who's who in the sport. You've got Zabit Magomed Sharapov, Jose Aldo, Frankie Edgar, Kelvin Cater, you name it, Jeremy Stevens has fought just about everybody. But do you feel that you already kind of talked about your boxing and how you feel like that's going to give you a bit of an advantage against Stevens? Do you feel like the cleanness of your combinations and just your ability to kind of stay composed in the middle of a firefight is really what's going to carry you to have an impressive performance here against Stevens and get a finish if that's what you're looking for?
Yeah, definitely my technical ability is gonna give me a little bit of an edge, I believe. He ain't fought no name like me though, so he's fought who's who and this guy and that guy, but he ain't fought me yet, and I'm the guy to watch. So
Thank you.
Tutor. Mark.
Hello, Hausch. First of all, how are you doing?
Hey, Mark. I'm doing great.
Good, good. So I feel like going into this 2022 season, you're obviously coming in as the champion from last year, but in your opinion, you already talked about it a bit about kind of looking to get a lot of finishes. Do you seem to have like a chip on your shoulder going into this season? You know, do you feel like you were heavily counted out last season and with this season, since you won the championship last year, are you looking to get more finishes because you have a type of chip on your shoulder and looking to make a statement for this?
No, I think, this year I will get more risks in the fight. I pushed harder last year, but last year I was concerned to grab the victory only. And but this year I'm more comfortable to trying the knockout, to push myself. And this gonna I will totally be a different dangerous fighter this year, because I assume I need to grab more risks this year. So if I see the guy's rocket, I will not, waiting, and no, I will push harder. I will try really finish this fight, because I think I'm comfortable to that. I'm working my mindset to, okay, last year was good. This year we can do better. If I push more, of course I will spend more energy, but I also have more chance to finish the fight before. So I will try this year do that.
100% Roush. And one more question for you. Who you obviously train out at American Top Team. Who is in your opinion, who's the most beneficial training partner that you know, train with on a weekly, daily basis? Who is like the first person that comes to mind in terms of your most, you know, maybe it's the hardest sessions, maybe it's the person you get the most work out of. Who is the number one person that comes to your mind from ATT?
For this camp specifically, we have many guys, great guys there. But for this camp, my friend Leandro Apollo and Thiago Moises also is a really good guy. We know we kill each other in the spar sessions, but we not hurt each other. You really wanna help each other, like iron sharpens iron. So, and but that's it for this camp specifically. I didn't train with Nathan because he's gonna fight a southpaw and also me, so make no sense we fight each other as we are, right standard. So but also Nathan, Thiago Moises, and Leandro Apollo, these three guys are also in my helping me for the camps.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mark.
Hey, Natan. My question for you is there any specific area of your game? Obviously, it's mixed martial arts. It's striking, it's clinch work, it's grappling. But is there any one specific area that you're looking to showcase more this season than the previous season?
Yes, my jiu-jitsu, my jiu-jitsu is good, but I improve my jiu-jitsu in this last year, since my last fight. I improved my jiu-jitsu a lot. I can show you a good jiu-jitsu again.
And one more question for you. What is your favorite submission to work on in training camp?
A real Nikkei choke, you know.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much.
Mark,
Hey Emiliano, this is Mark from the Touch 'em Up podcast. My question for you is, what was the toughest fight throughout your career in the PFL? And if it's not the toughest fight, what do you believe the fight is that you learned the most from throughout your career?
¿Cuál pelea que tú has tenido aquí en PFL ha sido la pelea que tú has, la más dura, la más difícil? Y también, si no has tenido una pelea muy difícil, ¿de cuál pelea has aprendido de más cosas?
I think that Chris Carmusi, no, the first fight the last season. Not only for Chris is a very good fighter, he's tough, but I'm sick. I COVID 2 or 3 weeks before a fight. I don't feel good, but it's a good experience, you know. I don't have condition. I fight only with my chest.
Thank you very much, Nathan.
Mark,
Hey Don, this is Mark from the Touch 'em Up podcast. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Last season you came in not in the tournament bracket and you defeated Nate Williams with that rear naked choke submission. Being in the tournament bracket this year and also going up against the champion of last season in your first fight, how big of an opportunity do you feel this is for you, and how motivated does that give you? A little bit of an extra motivation that your first fight in the tournament is against the champion from last year?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I actually wanted to fight Hausch first. I specifically said, I was like, you know, if I can get him first, I would really like to get that fight first. Like I've said before, you know, he's climbed the mountain already. And if I can get him out the way first, I already know that I have an advantage over the rest of the roster.
Is there anybody else in the tournament bracket that you are like looking forward to fight? Is there somebody in the bracket where you're like, man, I'd really like to fight this guy, you know, whatever time it may come?
You know, there's a guy on the roster that we've kind of like, we've had back and forths on Twitter and stuff from like previous promotional stuff. Stevie Ray, you know, he's talked a bit of mad shit on Twitter about me before. So, you know, if we manage to get squared up, I think it'll be good to settle everything in the cage.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alistar,
The underdog, my man. Good luck.
Thanks, man.
Mark,
Hey, Olivia, this is Mark from the Touch 'em Up podcast. You know, you've trained at a TriStar gym for your entire career almost with Faraz Sahabi and George St. Pierre. How beneficial is it to have a guy, you know, known as probably the greatest MMA fighter of all time in GSP, be in your camp all the time, you know, having him as a training partner, having him as a coach? Just walk us through how beneficial is that for you in terms of your MMA career and your success?
I don't know. I guess it's beneficial a lot. Again, I don't know if anything interesting to say with that question. I mean, he retired, so a lot of people, of athletes that retired, like they just leave. But he is still training. He's still there. I was training every Tuesday with him, doing wrestling with him, and he still got it. You know, so he's still a good training partner and a good teacher too. So it's always good to have somebody like him try to kick your ass and then tell you what you did wrong. So that's how he does it. Unfortunately, like of course, like I said just before, it's kind of hard right now in Canada to train. So during this wave of COVID, he was gone a lot, so I was not training with him. So a lot of fighters are fleeing Canada during the last wave. So I saw GSP a little bit less than normally, but still at the end of the training camp, I was able to train with him every Tuesday. And like I said, he's there to help. He was there to help when he was an athlete, but he's still there to help when he's retired.
Awesome. And one more question. You obviously have your shirt on, you know, about, you know, supporting another teammate in Arnold Allen, who just came off of that very impressive knockout win over Dan Hooker. Do you think that it's a potential for him to get Kelvin Cater next? And if not, who's somebody you'd like to see him fight in his next, you know, fight whoever it is in the rankings?
I think Cater would be such a good fight. think that would be my most interesting fight. The most interesting fight for me to watch, Keller. I think it's I think that's what should happen actually.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mark.
Hey, Stevie, how you doing?
Hey, mate. Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You know, you're obviously a two-time Cage Warriors lightweight champion, and I think a lot of people seem to talk about the UFC career a little bit more because it's the most current of all of your fights. But do you feel like Cage Fury and everything like that, or I'm sorry, Cage Warriors has become like sort of a breeding ground for the UFC right now? I mean, you've got probably the highest ranked fighter coming out of Cage Warriors recently is Sean Brady at 170 pounds, but do you think that this is just all of the new wave of MMA fighters, aside from the PFL, aside from the UFC, that Cage Warriors is kind of just breeding all of this new talent for the years to come?
Yeah, I mean, the Cage Warriors is basically like a stepping stone. There's, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but there's been so many fighters that have came from Cage Warriors. Conor McGregor obviously being one. He was just right before me. He vacated his belt, went to the UFC. I then won his belt. There's like Michael Bisping and so many others. But yeah, Cage Warriors is like one of the the top European shows. That then obviously leads to the UFC because the pay difference is quite substantial.
Right. Is there anybody that you've trained with, a training partner, somebody who maybe isn't at the top level yet, that you think can make big waves in the professional MMA scene, whether it's PFL, whether it's Cage Warriors, whether it's the UFC? Is there somebody off the top of your head who you think is going to make a big name for themselves in the years to come?
Oh, I mean, the guys at our gym, there's loads of them, but 3 of them off the top of my head that are gonna be big names pretty soon is Mark Ewan. I think he's only 23, and he's an absolute beast. I think he's 4-0 pro lightweight. So keep an eye on him. There's Sean Clancy. I think he's only 19. He's still just an amateur, but honestly, he is really, really good, and he's going to go far. And then the last one, Dylan Took. Dylan Took came over from Ireland, lives in the gym in Scotland now, and yeah, he's I'm not sure what his record is. I think it's maybe 5-2, 4-1, something like that. And yeah, he's improving a lot as well. So those 3 are gonna go far.
Awesome. Thank you, Stevie, and best of luck in your first fight.
Thank you, man.
Mark.
First of all, hey, Jeremy, how are you?
Fantastic, brother.
So we've already talked about your vast experience in the UFC. I mean, fighting guys like Jose Aldo, Josh Emmett, Kelvin Cater, you name it. You fought just about everybody there is to fight in the sport. Rafael Dos Anjos. You're coming into your first fight in the PFL against Clay Collard. Both of you guys are strikers. Both of you guys like to keep it on the feet. You can mix it up as well. Are you like fired up extra for this fight being your first fight in the PFL? Do you think this is like the most fan favorable matchup and one of the most favorable matchups for you in terms of excitement and just getting to showcase your skills?
I feel like I'm taking on the champion. I feel like he could have easily won that tournament. I feel like I'm going in here taking the number 1 guy off tops. If you know me, I fight nothing but the best, and I didn't come in here and get an easy fight. I'm not asking for an easy payday, and this is what I do. So it's just this is God's work. This is just an alignment. This is a great challenge that I welcome myself to, that I wake up every day with a game opponent, and that's enough motivation to get me up out of bed and like I said, to get the skills going to pay the bills.
100%. I couldn't have said it any better, and best of luck to you in your next fight.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate
you. Mark.
All right, Jeremy. So you've obviously trained at Alliance for your entire career. One of the best fighters in the world comes out of that gym in Dominic Cruz. How beneficial do you think Cruz has been to your MMA game, and just having him as a training partner, having him as a body? I know he was plagued by injuries for a lot of his career, and maybe some of his prime was taken away from him, a couple of years ago and years beyond that. How beneficial is it to have a guy like Cruz to work with, to learn from all the time?
He's good, man. He's like a brother to me. You know, he's a big bro to me, and he's someone that I look up to. I admire. Someone that I've moved my whole family out here for, and watch what he's doing. We have a little bit different similar fighting styles, but Dominic, he utilizes pain to his advantage. You know, he's very mindful. He's very smart. You know, you can go on and just list things about Dominic Cruz. He's a world champion, and that's why I get behind him, follow him, the coaches, the team behind Alliance. It reminds me of Iowa, the hard work, and it was the best move to move out to San Diego and just benefit my career and being around a guy like Dominic 24/7, you know, having him at my house, being around my family. It's just a tremendous benefit. He's just not just a training partner. He's a brother for life.
100%. You're a player for life and he's a brother for life. If you have one message for everyone in the lightweight division in this PFL tournament, if we were going to close it out, what's your one message to everybody standing in front of you?
I see dead people.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you, brother.